So you have been thinking about writing a book, maybe for a while. Maybe you even started a document and named it My Book, Final Draft Version 7, and then never opened it again. Totally normal, but here's the thing. If that question is swirling in your mind, like, should I write a book or shouldn't I do it? Should I do it? Should I not do it? You're already ahead of 99% of the people, because most people never even ask this exact question. But now that you're here, let's talk about it, because writing a book is one of the most powerful moves you can make, or one of the most frustrating, confusing, energy draining things you will ever attempt as well, if you don't get clarity first. So today, let's unpack this together. No fluff, no pressure, just clarity. All right. So first off, why does this even matter? Because let's be honest, everyone and their cousin seems to be writing a book these days, right? But what nobody talks about is that without a proper or a clear purpose, without knowing what you're doing it for, you could easily spend months or even years, decades sometimes, writing something that nobody reads, nobody buys, and let's be blunt, you are not even proud of presenting it to the world. I mean, that's the nightmare. And the dream, a book that gives you credibility, creates that kind of an impact, builds your brand, opens doors, gets you to on big podcast stages, in boardroom. Yeah, that version also exists, but only if you start from the right place. And that place is not like, how do I write a book? It is like, it should start at, should I write a book right now? And if yes, what kind and why in the first place? Let me tell you a quick story. I had a client, we'll call him Raj, super successful consultant, and kept saying, I need to write a book, I need to write a book. And when I asked him why, he said, because all my peers have one, and I feel like I am left behind. That was the reason. And not the best reason, right? So I instead of jumping in and writing blindly, so we thought we'll dig deeper, and turns out Raj didn't want just a book. He wanted a book that positioned him as the authority in his niche. Something that made kind of high ticket clients come to him instead of him chasing them. That was the uh, reason, and that is clarity after we figured this out. So 6 months later, that book wasn't just finished, it was doing work for him, the intended work. So let's break this down into a few points that might help you find your own clarity. First, know your why. Honestly, the ones, everything, this is completely like, this is where it should start. Why do you want to write a book? Is it to build authority, or is it to share your story, or is it to maybe generate leads for your business, or leave a legacy, or maybe to prove something to the world, to yourself? All are valid, but you have to be really honest, because if your why is weak, the moment it gets tough, and it will, you will quit, right? But if your why is strong, you will push through even when it's messy and uncomfortable, because writing a book is such a task. So before you think about chapters and outlines or editors, get clear on why this book needs to exist in the first place. Second, a big idea is your doubts. Totally normal. Listen, if you have ever thought, questions like, who would read my book? Or, am I an expert? Or, I don't have enough to say. Welcome to the club. Every single author I have worked with, everyone, has had these doubts or thoughts, but they didn't let the doubt stop them. You know, they asked the better questions instead, and which leads me to the next point, which is the third point, is clarity doesn't come from forcing an answer. It comes from asking the right questions. So if you are, sitting there waiting for, kind of a divine signal to tell you to write your book, I hate to break it to you, that's not how it works. Clarity isn't kind of a lightning bolt. It's a process. You need to ask yourself, what do I want this book to do for me in the first place? Who do I want this book to reach for? Like, who should read this book? What's the transformation I want the reader to go through? How will this book fit into my bigger business or life goals or career goals? So you answer those questions and similar questions, and you will know pretty quickly whether it's your time to write a book or not. Fourth big idea today, you don't have to write it alone or all at once. There's this, that weird myth that if you write a book, you have to lock yourself in a cabin for 6 months and emerge with a masterpiece. No, I mean, these days there are systems, there are coaches, teams, growth hacking, either publishing, partners, collaborations who will guide you through the whole thing, like we do at Stardom Books. You bring in the insights, we bring the structure, the accountability, the production. So you don't, think, or you don't let that it's too big, kind of it's a big project voice in your head stop you now. So there's a way. Now let's talk about what not to do as well. So first of all, don't start writing a book just because your competitors are doing. Don't wait for the perfect time. It doesn't exist. It will never come. Many people say, I will write it after my retirement, I will write it after like 60 years. It never comes. And don't ignore the cost of not writing the book, because every day you wait, someone else gets ahead of you in your own space, in your own industry. All right. So what's the first step? Simple. Get clarity before you commit. So we actually run something called as the clarity session, author fit clarity session at Stardom Books. It's a kind of short, focused call, customized, where we ask you the right questions, the kind of questions that unlock your reasons, your audience, your book's potential, or even tell you that maybe it's not your time yet, and that's fine too. Because this isn't about pressure, it's about making the right decision for where you are right now and where you need to be about this book project. So if this has been on your mind, like, don't just sit on it. Go to stardombooks.com/clarity session, the URL that you see on the screen, and book your one-on-one clarity session right now, because every expert, entrepreneur, and leader has a story to tell, but only those with clarity turn that story into a book that actually matters, isn't it? So let's help you find out if your story is ready to be written. See you inside.